Okay. So all this variable multiple value, we talk about this multiple value yesterday. And this one, what do you think will be this one? This one is equal to this equal to this. So everything will be orange. You understand? Later we'll talk about it. I don't want to talk about this one now because it's just like when you say x is equal to y is equal to z is equal to orange. So which means that everything will be what? Sorry, that pure. So are you there? Hallelujah. Hello. Let me pause the record again. So when we said x is equal to y is equal to z is equal to what? Orange, which means that the bed is invalid. Uh, but we are still going to come back to this because I don't want to talk this because we've not talked about the array. So later we'll talk about it. Mm. Now let's go to data type. So in Python we have a different type of data type. So they are built-in data type. And when we say built-in data type, that is data type that comes with Python itself. So because we have other data type that you can actually build yourself, create a custom data type. So one of the data type is string. Anything in text, anything text is what we call what string. So and then we have numeric data type. Integer, number without decimal, number with decimal. Here we don't have float. Like in MySQL or in database SQL where we have a double, float, decimal. If it's going to be double, it's going to be is float. And we have integer. We have complex number. And this complex number, we use them for mathematical computation. Um, we have what we call list, is a data type. We have tuple, we have a range, we have dictionary, we have a set, we have frozen set, we have boolean. All these lists, we are going to take them one after the other. You understand it. Tuple, you understand what tuple represent. Range, you understand what range represent. Set. So we have byte. For example, now when if you want to download something over the internet, you understand? You try to download, it's going to download in form of byte. Let's say a video now. It will first download them byte by byte by byte, then to now assemble everything together. And when it's completed the download, that's when you now see something dot mp3, maybe mp4 based on the video extension. You understand? We have a byte array. That is, when you hear about array, it means multiple. It means something multiple. So a multiple byte. So memory view, this is another data type, and we have the data type. This is not really a data type, none. Maybe if you can declare something, maybe if you don't know the value for it, I can say salary is equal to none. But it has to be they just say non-type, but it's not. You don't say non-type, you just say no, no. So which means that there is no value for it. You understand? In other programming language, what we used to do is we say salary. We, instead of this, in other programming language, we say null. Like in Java, in JavaScript, we say null. You understand? That is, it doesn't have any specific value. It just to initialize it. Now, from each of the data type, we can get a type. I showed you this one yesterday. If I want to get the type for this, I can get the type. So even at this, it will actually evaluate the type so that I'll be able to know the type. For example, Anytime you see something with this curly brace, I mean with this square bracket, this and this square bracket is a list. Did you get it? And then when you see something with that decimal point, it's integer. There is nothing like long. There is nothing like a big int. It's integer is integer in Python. But anything in quote, whether in double quote or at time in single quote, is a string. So that you'll be able to identify them, you see them. And then when you see something with decimal point, those are the floating point. But when you see something that has a combination of number and character, that is a complex number. So especially when if you are working with some sort of mathematical computation, so we use a complex number. Let's say uh, data. So let's use snake this snake syntax naming convention is equal to, if I say 1 plus I j 2j, you see, if I print type of, we want to know what data type is this complex number. You understand? I can go ahead and say Python tutorial 2.py, right? You see, it's telling me that it's a complex number. You used to see this thing in mathematics, especially if you are doing further math here. So this is how we handle complex number. That's why Python is very good for data science, because it provides such a kind of support. If you have to work around this one, let's say in Java, you have to go and write extra logic to have this kind of a data type. And anytime you see something like a list, a square, this call it a square bracket, you should know that it's a what? A list. But anytime you see this close bracket is a tuple. So we are going to take this tuple, list, and number one after the other. You understand? You see them? Number, that is, whether complex or this, we are going to take them one after the other. So range, this is a range that is from 0 to what? 6. So this is the maximum range. Then anything you see a curly brace, take note, a list is a square bracket. Tuple has just normal bracket. Then curly brace, it has to do with the dictionary, which means it always have a dictionaries always have keys and value. For example, this is the key. This is the what? Value. This is the key. This is the value. Let's say I want to create a dictionary of employee. Let's say the employee have a first name, last name, email, and phone. You understand? I can say employee is equal to, so I have to say first name, last name, email, phone. So when you see a data like this, you should know the type of this data type is what? Dictionary. That have keys and value. So that means if I say first name, it will return this for me. If I get last name, it will return this for me. So that you should know the difference between that. You understand? And you see the way frozen set used to be. The frozen set we have take form of a tuple and this curly brace, but it's not, it's trying to take form of a set and tuple. You see, set and tuple. Take note the difference between key between set and tuple and dictionary. Dictionary doesn't have the dictionary have keys, but set doesn't have keys. It's just the actual value. You understand? Like here now, if I want to create this one as a set now, let me say, let me call it employee set. It will not have all this. I'll just pass only the value to it. Did you get it? So each of them have each of them has a use case. There are cases where you need set. There are places where you need a dictionary. There are cases where you need tuple, where you need a frozen set. But it is not left for you to now think. So anything that has to be true or false is this one. And byte, true or false, is this. So when we say byte, it will return the byte. You know there is a the binary in there is a binary data. I mean there is a binary value for every character or digit or this. So you can equally get a byte value for it. But as we progress, you understand better of you understand all this one better. So and I told you something yesterday that typecasting that you can convert integer to what? Hmm. So I can actually combine employee list to from one. I can say if it is a list, I can say list, and then I can pass this one there. You understand? I can convert, yes, I can convert any other data type to this. So if I want to, you get what I'm saying? So which means that if it is set, it's going to be set. Let me put, it's going to be set, or let's say dix, or let's say top for top or for top. You get the gist. That means if I want to convert it to top, if it is a tuple now, I can say instead of the list, I can say top. Sorry, tuple. So which means that it will take this, convert it to tuple. So that means if you have something in a set, in a list, you can convert it to another data type. Here is a string. It's always like this. So I can convert a number to a string. I can convert a string to number. I can convert something. Let's say the number. Let's say okay. First type. Let me say it. I have 1 plus 2j, 3j. You know this is a string as long as it's a double quote. But if I need it to, if I need, because there are cases whereby specific data type has different kind of method that we can use to manipulate the content. You understand? Let's say I want to use a mathematical equation and I know that a string, I can't do it with a string. So that means I need to convert it to a complex number. So I can say complex type. This is just a variable I gave to it. Sorry, let's just follow. I can now say complex and pass that first type to it. You understand? So that it will convert it to complex, then I may not decide to use any function provided by the complex. Did you get it? That is what we call typecasting. So if you look at every other one here, uh, there are different type of way that we can use to do some sort of typecasting. And they ask you to do exercise here. That what is the exercise here? What will it print here? It will give you something class int. Okay, if you just put int there, you understand. That is just that's all about this data type. Then we will now take each of data type one after the what order. You see Python casting string, boolean, operators, list, tuple, set, dictionary. So you will now see different method that you can use to manipulate each of their content. Do you get it? Like now, complex number. There is a operation that we can perform on number. You know, we have arithmetic operation. but I'm still going to teach you operator. When they say Python operators, this is integer, this is float, this is complex number. They just try to explain more. It has unlimited length, whether it is positive or negative, as long as there is no decimal point, it is what? Integer. So whether it is positive or negative, as long as it has a decimal point, we classify it as what? Float. So and you see when you see complex number, you see stuff like this. You see stuff like this, a combination of number and character. It's not necessary that it has to be J. It may be I, it may be other character, it may be X. So it's a complex number. So when you see them, you'll be able to understand. And this another type of this is a random that we can use to generate random number, but it's a package. It's from a Python module, but it's not really a data type. But I don't know why they actually bring it here because I don't want to talk about that now. I don't want to talk about this now. And then typecasting, I've explained this one already now. I'm going to stop here. I will give you something. Go and study string. So we will now work with string so that you will see how we manipulate string, how we get the size of the string, how we can write a program to change the content of the string, how we can get a lot of stuff with the string. So